Recording. So, what's up? It's Keith Kelfis with the Untrapped Podcast. I'm live right now. Well, actually pre-recorded, but it could be live when you're watching it with Sean Langton from Kujo Yardwear, man. And sorry, bro, you are so you're the owner of Kujo Yardwear. For those of you that don't know, like, look at the hat I'm wearing, the green case. Some people watch my videos and they're like, and for those of you that are listening on the Untrapped Podcast and you can't see, this will be on YouTube as well. But I have my Kelfis Professional Services hat, but then I teamed up with Kujo Yardwear and I started wearing their shoes, their shirts, their hats. And some people in the comments are like, "Bro, I love the hat." Okay. I'm like, what's actually a Kujo Yardwear hat, but I'm Keith Kelfis. But and so I tried on there just for some context. Like, they sent me their boots. Let me make sure my phone's on silent. Sorry, I was on back-to-back calls after this. Before this, they sent me some of their swag and their boots, and I was like, bro, my feet are kind of flat and funny shaped, and so I already know I'm not going to like these, but I'm just going to try them on. So then when I tried them on and they were like the most comfortable work shoe boots, like the Kujo Yardwear, they're for lawn and landscapers, whatever. They have ones that are like, I think they're 99% waterproof. My feet have never got wet. Anyways, they're the most comfortable damn shoes and boots I've ever worn ever. And now they're the only things that I wear and I actually love them. And so they're like, well, let's do like this affiliate deal. And I'm like, okay, use promo code Keith10 during checkout and you'll save 10% on all Kujo Yardwear. But I actually felt like almost weird talking about it because I felt like there's this part of me, like, how do people know I'm not just lying or being a bullshitter, that I'm just saying this? But it's the truth. Like, they're actually the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn. Now, I can't say that for your feet. I'm just saying that for my feet, but I love them. And now I got them all the time. I got like 3 different pairs and I got a Kujo shirt from my wife and I have crispy hats. So this is Sean Langton, the owner of Kujo Yardwear. Now, are you like the founder, the creator, like the inventor of Kujo?
Yeah, I guess I pretty much am. I am. Hey, Keith, thanks for having me. Yeah, it was kind of my brainchild back in 2017, 2018 when we rolled this off. So yeah, I definitely have a lot of help and great people with me, but yeah, kind of got it rolling back in the day.
No, I'm fascinated by entrepreneurship, and before we started recording, I was talking about how, like, I get really excited, and I'll let you do most of the talking. I'm just kind of setting the groundwork here. I used to make these crazy videos, and I still do, of like me trimming trees and cussing and yelling and talking about being in the trenches of business, and like, I still make some of those videos, but as I've grown a bit, I'm more becoming interested in the deep entrepreneurial conversations that cause the ahas or the eureka moments where make you reframe something in your brain that make you go, oh my God, that's the answer. And these answers move the needle forward that help you realize something in your life and business that make you make an extra 50 or 100 grand this year, that make you, be able to upgrade your lifestyle and provide for your family better, to watch some of your own dreams come true instead of just getting excited of entertaining information. So my question for you is, it takes, to me, to start a invent and probably even patents and a manufacturing a business where you're actually doing e-commerce and physical products and then tapping into an audience like lawn and landscapers and having to build that from the ground up takes huge nuts, man. And so I've watched what you've done. I see your branding is all super in line and everything is just like, every time I see Kujo Yardwear, I know what it is. It's like Nike to us landscapers. So can you talk about your whole process and how you, like, what were the big ahas for you that got you to the next step, and then some of the struggles, and let's talk about that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton to unpack, so I appreciate you setting up like that. But like going back to the start, like aha moment. I mean, aha moments build up from past experiences, right? So, just a little bit of a background. I grew up. My dad and my grandfather owned a construction company. Just building houses, doing all kinds of maintenance, and that's what I did for many years, just working construction. I hated heavy work boots, hated them. So I was the kid on the job site wearing my Nikes, and my dad was yelling at me not to, because I wasn't wearing boots, that sort of thing. So that was back when I was, a teenager and stuff. And I was the kid that loved shoes. Like, I would cut apart my Nike Airs to just see how the air pocket was built into it. And I was always curious about it. So that was kind of the background. And then, fast forward, life happens, different jobs, this and that. But I become a homeowner in my 30s, and I'm doing all my yard work and landscaping. And again, still hate heavy work boots, but I'd wear my Nikes out, in the morning. My feet were getting soaking wet. I had a hill in my backyard. I'm slipping. And I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, there's got to be a better shoe. So I'm like literally Googling lawn care shoe, lawn mowing shoe, yard work shoe, landscaping shoe, because I didn't want a boot. Couldn't find anything. I found a lot of like chat rooms on like lawn site asking, what do you guys wear? What do you wear? And that's when it was kind of like, aha, I think there's, a need out here. So that was really when the moment kind of hit me. And then I took, some time. I started just talking to a lot of professional lawn care and landscapers over the next year and a half, and just did a ton of research before I jumped into it. But that, to answer your question, that was kind of like the aha when we said, I think there's something here. Let's think about this.
Now, have you ever like invented anything in the past or had some other ventures that you tried and didn't work?
I never invented anything in the past. What was kind of helpful to me is that I took a few different jobs out of college in consumer products. So I worked for different lawn and garden product companies. So I had, not that I was the inventor, but I had brought products to market, and I was involved in sales and marketing quite a bit, and selling like lawn and garden products to Home Depot, Lowe's, all that sort of stuff. So I was familiar with products and marketing and things like that. So that gave me the confidence to, kind of proceed, with this venture, even though I never did shoes specifically.
What about the tens of thousands of dollars invested in like patenting and attorneys, and then like there's what utility and material, like different patents, and you have to like go visit factories or try on different ones, and blowing money on all these prototypes and having different people try them, and then going back and forth with your designer till you're pulling your hair out? Like, how did you go through all that?
All of that. So that was well over a year. And going back to, I think you said you get to take some balls to do this. I mean, to come up with to tell people I was creating a shoe for lawn mowing that was going to cost over $100, people thought I was crazy, who weren't in the industry. They're like, what do you mean? People just there's already boots and people wear their old tennis shoes. Like, what are you talking about? So, but I felt very confident in it, and you need a support system. I still remember the day I went out to dinner with my wife, and I broke the news to her. I said, I have this like desire in my head to start a shoe company of lawn care shoes. And I said, it's going to cost a lot of money, and it's going to take a lot of my time. But I remember telling her at dinner, I said, I would be so fulfilled doing this. I said, I don't want to join the golf league. I don't want to do all this other crap that all my other buddies were doing. I said, I want to spend all my time, besides with my family, building a shoe company for lawn care. And it's going to take like a lot of our life savings. And she was like, she had total trust in me, total faith. She's like, if that's what you want to do, I trust you, go for it. And we just, and then from that day on, after that dinner, I knew it was going to happen.
Wow. Now talk about a struggle, though. I want to hear a story, because people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care, and they don't care about your successes until they can like feel the pain of your struggles.
Oh my gosh. So then that was it, so then, we sunk our life savings into this, had to do kind of, I talked to, hitting up my family and friends. Shoes are expensive. It's not just the lawyer fees in this. I found a great designer. His name's Brett Gullif. He worked for Jordan, New Balance back in the day. And he totally got it. He's from Detroit, and he understood our vision, and him and I worked great together. So we had that.
Do you mind saying his name again?
His name's Brett Gullif, and he's out of Detroit. So he's a freelance footwear designer, just a sneakerhead, just a brilliant guy, actually. So he's kind of the design brains behind it. He designed our logo with me, and all of our footwear, actually. So, but the struggle, was first getting the money. To create a shoe, you have to invest thousands and thousands of dollars in tooling for every single size. So we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars before you even go to production. So we had to raise some money, and that was a lot of work, and doing the pitch, and talking to friends and family, and trying to convince them this was a good idea, and all that stuff. And I heard a lot more no's than yes. So that took a long time. And then we finally, we're ready to go to production. We had to do a Kickstarter campaign. If you're familiar with that, that's where you kind of have a new product and you try to get people to pre-buy it and fund your idea. So that we almost failed on that, and I was stressed out. But we finally got to the point where we could go to production, and that was so exciting for me. And talk about struggles, I was naive. I'm like, you know what? This is the greatest, you kind of you start falling in love with your own ideas too much, right? And I was like, this is the greatest idea ever. As soon as this hits the market, it's going to blow up. The word's going to spread. It's just going to blow up. I was so naive that the amount of work it actually takes. So like we launched in spring 2018 and I had like no marketing budget because I used any little dime I had to go to production. So I literally had like $1,000 in my bank in 2018 when we go to launch a brand new, not a new product, but a new category. When established brand would probably recommend you have hundreds of thousands of dollars for marketing spend, we had nothing. And so it didn't take off like I expected right in the spring of 2018. And it was a punch in the gut. And I started getting stressed. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? It takes a lot of work. And I was doing the legwork. I'm calling newspapers, publications. We got on local news stations, everything we could to get the word out. So that first like 4 months was like crazy. Is this thing going to happen type thing? So
I'm loving everything you're saying. And I'm thinking about, not that I'm experienced in, bringing physical products to market. I have had an Amazon business selling e-commerce and physical products, which failed miserably. I have 3 books and we have info products and we have a landscaping service business. But my point is that it is a lot harder. And I've taken a lot of online courses like Jeff Walker Product Launch Formula. I've invested a lot in this. And they talk about how basically like what you're saying. So the reason I'm saying that is because I'll talk to some people sometimes and they get so like a guy will have a weed whip in his hand and he'll be like, bro, I have this idea. We should do this accessory for the weed whip, or I'm going to build this thing and I'm going to be a millionaire. And it's like, naivety is your best friend, because if you knew what it actually took, you wouldn't even get started, bro. You would just go throw up. And so that's why being naive and just being excited and having a dream and a vision is your best friend, right?
Yeah.
So amazing. Like,
yeah, you're 100% right. And it doesn't just happen. It's a lot more work than you expect. And like you said, ideas are not that it's easy. I mean, a good idea is worth $1 million, but ideas are the easy part. Everybody, there's a lot of people that have a lot better ideas than me about things, but it's like you said, it's the work, it's the execution, it's the investment, it's figuring out how to create a great product, bringing it to market, and then just busting your butt in the sales and marketing to really, get people to try it. And then once people try it, that's even the harder part. Now you have to have outstanding customer service. And fortunately, that's something I thought of right from the beginning. Like, customers are gold. Like, once I realized that first year how hard it is to get someone to actually try something new, it's really, really hard. Once they spend their hard-earned money to try it, you better believe you should better treat them really, really well. And because you want them to keep supporting you and feel like they trust you and you're going to take care of them if there's an issue. And that has been even more of an important part than finding those new customers. It's keeping them, right? It's treating them like gold, because they are gold. It's the lifeblood of any business is your customers, and making sure they feel valued and that they're going to be taken care of if they have an issue.
man, you're really talking about the glue, the meat and potatoes, the lattice work that builds a business, and the rubber meeting the road between idea, framework, structures, and integrating it. Like, because you get the visionary integrator relationship, and you got to build a tangible structure in reality, like a real thing, and all the iterations and processes to make that possible versus just an idea. I remember in the book Shoe Dog by Phil Knight,
one of my favorite books, by the way. Love it.
They're talking this Steve Jobs from Apple had a meeting with the Nike guys, and it was like the top dude in Nike. And anyways, when because he was giving Nike some advice, and they were anyways, Steve Jobs was leaving the office, and I forgot his name, but he turns towards Steve Jobs, the Nike guy, and he goes, hey, all right, later, Steve. Steve, is there anything else, any ideas that you have or anything? Can you give us just one word of advice? And Steve turned back, and yeah, this was it. Steve turns back to the Nike guy, and he goes, oh yeah, I do have one word of advice for you. He goes, Nike makes beautiful products. You already know this story?
I know, well, I read the book, but I'm intrigued. I don't remember.
Okay.
I want to hear
he
it.
Said Nike makes beautiful, world-class products, but you also make a ton of crap. And then the guy was like, thought Steve was joking, but he wasn't joking. He goes, quit making all the crap and just focus on the really, really good stuff. And then he walked out the door, and they're like, this guy's an asshole. But he had like an amazing point. It was like, because you said ideas are a dime a dozen. So every day you could just start more products and more products. And then when you get close to other people on your team, they might be coming in your office every other day. I got an idea for a new Kujo product. Like, how have you had to like cut away the fat and just focus on the winners? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's a challenge, and even today, you never master that because there's always good ideas, and our customers give us a lot of great ideas. So you want to tackle everything, but you're right. You really have to focus. And one of our co-founders, Craig, my sister Kelsey, and Craig, her husband, he's really, really good at that, and he kind of reins me in. So it's good to have people on your team that are like that, because I love to go after everything. So, I have Craig does a good job as being like, I think we really need to focus here. I don't think we've fully tapped the market, and people love this. Let's focus here. So it is hard. It takes some restraint, but it's smart, because if you spread yourself too thin, especially in a products company, inventory is such a tough thing to manage with lead times that no one has a magic wand and can nail inventory 100% right. So then people start getting mad if you're out of stock. So it's tough to spread too thin. It's good to focus.
Wow. So it's like, if you look at the nature of everything going on, like in real time, it's quantum of all the shit going on in your business and the things being produced. If you just take all that and lay that down on a 2D timeline and map it out, it could be 1.5 years worth of shit. And so when someone's like, we got a new idea for a new invention or a new product. Okay, stop. Are we going to put this at the front of the train, the back of the train, and get to it in 1.5 to 2 years with Murphy's Law, or put it in the middle? Because then we're going to have to spread our timelines out even farther and remap out everything. Sorry, I'm getting triggered because this is my whole.
It's so true. Everything affects other things. And that's to your point. Like, if we're gonna focus on socks, right? If all of a sudden socks is like the greatest new idea, well, that's going to take away some of my mental power on our yard shoes, which is our number one seller and 60% of our revenue. Is it worth me to go socks, which all, by the way, are a less retail type item? Instead of $100 a pair, it's $20 or whatever. Like, is it really worth? Even though we have a lot of people saying they want socks, should we do socks? That's something I'm struggling today. I bring up socks because that's on my mind this morning. We have a great sock mill right in North Carolina. I've tested.
You could do socks as an upsell, one-click offer. So when they're buying the shoes in the cart, they could click it, add socks as well. Want 3 pairs, 6 pairs, 9 pairs, 12 pairs. How about 25 pairs? How about a whole year subscription of socks? Auto billing sock subscription.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you're right. There's a lot of things you can go there. So it's like, do we put in the time, the money, the effort, the marketing into socks, or do we just say forget it and focus on our core business and keep trying to grow that? So there's always that challenge. The other thing is, though, you don't want to only focus on what you have. You have to have new. As a products company, any company really, but especially a products company. Not that we have to be crazy, but I try to make it a point. We have to bring in at least 1 to 3 new things a season, right? It doesn't have to be crazy, but we don't want to get stale. You don't want people to get bored with you as a brand. So you got to have some new releases, but you got to be focused.
So where is the gradient in between bringing new items to market, promoting new things versus just sticking with the core offer? And because you obviously, to make more money, you want to sell more things to customers who already know you, like you, and trust you. You want to increase the average ticket, the frequency of transaction, but then you also want to get to new people with your core offer, which is like your highest converting thing. That is like, it makes the most sense. It makes the most profit. So like, how are you balancing the mathematics of all that?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we're always analyzing it, and to on that point, here's a conversation our team just had recently. We released the Jags, which is kind of the slip-on version of our yard shoe, right? And so the conversation, we're like, are we going to add a lot of new customers, or are we just going to have our current yard shoe customers just switch over to the Jags, where we're not really gaining new customers, or just switching to a new product? So
bro, I love the new Jags. So I got the ones with the tie-on laces. They're dope. Wear them every day. But when the Jags came out, there's one thing. Okay, I'm busy as hell, and I'm sure people listening can relate. Just to have to bend over and tie my shoes pisses me off. I don't have time to tie my shoes, so I double knot them and leave them just loose enough so I can slip them bitches on.
Right.
Then you came out with the slip-ons, bro, and they got the little pull tab in back.
Exactly.
I just wore them yesterday.
Yeah, they're perfect. But as a business, we start thinking, we're like, oh crap, are we just taking our current customers and they're going to stop buying the yard shoe and they're just going to buy the Jags. It's not really increasing our revenue. We're just flip flopping. But, we ultimately came to the idea, if we don't do it, another company will. And then instead of that same customer just trying a new product, we lose that customer to the competitor who comes out with the Jags. So we said, we always want to keep evolving and offering our customer a better product. If they stop buying the old product to buy our new product, that's totally fine, because we're giving them something better, and it's ultimately worth it.
Damn. I was thinking about all this. So what is the role that you play in your business on a day-to-day? What type of fires pop up, and what do you want to focus on that really moves the needle forward for your business, that distractions keep popping up and stopping you? Like, how do you balance these different roles?
Yeah, it's tough. I really want to do more and more strategy and relationship building, right? As whatever the founder, whatever as you will, like, I want to build relationships with brands, with people like yourself, with, we had a relationship with Skag. We did a Skag mowing shoe in their colors, co-branded. That was a huge hit. Like, how do I do that? How do I, integrate our relationships and our strategy and our 5-year plan and do that? But I get bogged down on the day-to-day. We have a great customer service guy, but I'm still super involved with that. And, when there's an issue with a customer, I'm like, what's going on? How do we take care of them? Not that I don't trust my guy, Brett, to take care of it, but I still like to get my hands in probably a little too much. Even like invoicing with small customers here and there, I'm really dialing in on these little details. That's the type of stuff where I'm glad it's getting done, but I need to trust other people are going to get it done right, and focus on, I want to spend more time on the product strategy, overall marketing strategy, and relationship brand building.
I'm letting it sink in what you're saying. Okay, so would something like this, like being on a podcast, be relationship and brand building, going to live events and things like that?
Yes.
Building deeper relationships with people.
Yes.
Focus on the relationships, and then the business takes care of itself. That theory.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of where I want to put a little more effort this year is the relationships and partnerships with other brands, and we have a lot of good friends in the industry, but how can we help out other brands, and then they can in turn work with us, and just things like that. That's the fun stuff.
I love it. So that would actually be one of the most powerful roles you could play, is relationship and brand building and things like that, and equity.
Yes.
So I had this thing come across my mind that I just thought about. It's a little bit of a shift, but I was thinking about when I first saw Kujo Yardwear. I saw Brian's Lawn Maintenance wearing them and promoting them. I'm friends with Brian. He's an hour away from me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, lawn shoes made specifically for lawn care or what? I'm like, I thought it was a gimmick. It was kind of gimmicky, and it was weird to me. I'm like, Brian's just promoting some stuff. I'm like, I don't know. It was kind of weird to me because I had never seen it before ever in my life. So I didn't even know what category to put it in, because our marketing brains and what we've been exposed to, I didn't have any category to put it in. So there was a question mark, and it just kind of floated around in my head. Then I saw Kujo Yardwear again. And then, and it happened to be on a day where, like, depending on what type of work we do, if we're doing some tree work, we're wearing boots.
Right.
I require anybody who works for me, they got to wear boots, or at least shoes that are like boots, because I don't want to cuss. I fucking hate wearing boots, bro. They literally drive me insane. They hurt my feet. They cause blisters. I worked for a landscape company for years, a big landscape company that you had to wear boots every day, like steel toes. And so when it's 100 degrees out, I could go on and on about how much I hate wearing boots. And then people would talk shit on my videos because I'm wearing tennis shoes in my videos, like a pair of Pumas. And dude, I would just tell myself, I'm like, dude, these are super lightweight. I wear Pumas so I can get around quick. I don't even care if my feet get a little bit wet. I am not wearing boots. It makes my day. It's the difference between a miserable day and a not miserable day is what boots came down to for me. And then I had this whole problem of like feeling like a wuss because I don't like wearing boots, and men wear boots. And then you get around a crew of guys who are they're all wearing boots, and you're the only one not wearing boots. And then you feel a little insecure as a man because you're wearing Pumas. And then like the way I'm going to go on about this, bro, because this is marketing gold. Listen, and then I'm talking too damn much. The way that my work pants would fall over the Pumas when I'm working, and then if I was digging with a shovel, my sock would show a little bit. I'm like,
Right.
what is this? Michael Jackson out here digging? Like, because his socks, like it was just
Right.
silly. And I'm like, well, I'm going to wear black socks. So I don't have white socks. That way it's like, and it was like this. I'm really embarrassing myself here right now. So I saw the Kujo Yardwear boots and they talk about how like they were lightweight. I'm like, they look lightweight. And then I finally got my first pair of Kujo Yardwears. And as soon as I got them and I felt how lightweight they are and how legit they were, I put them on and I loved them. And I was surprised that I loved them. And then when I actually got the Kujo Yardwear boots, because you guys have boots too, the boots are lightweight and they fit ergonomically perfectly on my feet. And then as soon as I tried them on and I wore them a few days in a row, it became utterly like apparent to me that, oh my God, just like I have my Kelfis work shirt with the embroidery logos and my Kelfis jacket, and I have all my work pants and my work leather belt, why the hell would I wear Pumas to work landscaping? And it looks maybe kind of unprofessional. Why wouldn't I have like legit the same type of like, so this whole process went through my mind, and then it's like, dude, what do you mean? This Kujo Yardwear is the work shoe that I wear and the work boot that I wear, and that's part of my business attire. And then I got some for my employees, and they wear them and they love them. So it just became this thing that's like an of course thing. And then I started to get around and blow up on social media. And then I started promoting them with you guys, and I see people buying them all the time. And now it's like become this new thing. So I feel like you almost, one of the smartest things you can do in marketing is to create a niche. If there's a niche, you create a sub niche and you become the inventor of that niche and you define the space around it. So it's like you own that niche. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you really did. And how did you break through so fast to... I don't know what percentage of market saturation you're at, but you've broken through the noise. Can you talk about all that?
Yeah, you nailed it when it comes to being a very specific niche. When we said when I wanted to start a shoe company, right? That was my dream as a kid. So hey, I'm doing it, but there's no way in the world I'm going to just compete as a general like athletic shoe or a general hiking shoe going against like Nike or we had no chance. But the only chance we had of surviving and actually making something here is to have a very, like you said, to have a very specific niche, do it really, really well, and just focus on it, and just try to be the best in that very specific niche. And fortunately for us, the one I was interested in, like a lawn care shoe, was not being filled. And we still today, we still haven't really strayed from that. We get a lot of ideas of, hey, you should make a shoe for like factory workers or this or that. There's a lot of workwear type things, of course, right? But we're still staying true at this point to the green industry specifically, and it served us well. And I think guys in the industry appreciate that. The first year that it came out, it really kept my drive going when I received so many like emails and calls from like landscapers saying, thank you for finally making a shoe for the green industry. No one ever cared about us specifically before. And that was really cool to kind of get that. It kind of hit home, and that's what drives you. So the other thing besides focusing on that niche is partnering with people within the space. You had mentioned Brian right from the start. In 2018, back to my earlier story, when we really struggled when we launched, we weren't getting any traction the first few months. So I had no marketing budget. One customer who tried us, one of our very few, the first couple months, he actually reached out to me and said, hey, do you know there's these guys in like YouTube that are in the lawn care industry? And I had no clue. I'm like, really? They're like, check these guys out. And they give me a handful of guys, including Brian and a couple other guys. They're like, you should really start watching these guys. So I did. That first night, I was like watching YouTube all night. I'm like, holy crap, there's this whole, like, these guys are providing some good info and all this. And so that's when we've got in touch with Brian. And we were from Michigan, just like you and Brian. So that was kind of an easy connection. We got to talking, and he was willing to try him out. And that's where we started gaining traction within the industry, when we leveraged the other guys within the industry that already had a following. And fortunately, those guys who tried our shoes loved them. And that really helped spread the word.
So you got into influencer marketing strategy.
That's what we did. That was May or June of 2018, after the guys had worn them for a few months. And then they started doing some YouTube videos, I think in June of 2018. with influencer marketing. That's the first time we started really gaining some traction. Yep.
So what are you currently working on this month?
Well, this is go time. This is peak season right now. So once spring hits, March 20th, March and April is such a peak season for us now. So now it's just planning a lot of marketing and emails and making sure our inventory is on check. And then it's just go time right now. This is our peak season as far as people getting their footwear for the year.
I love it. And obviously anybody could just go to Kujo Yardwear on Facebook, Instagram, or the website. If
That's
anybody
right.
wants
Yeah.
to get Kujo Yardwear, promo code Keith10 during checkout saves you 10% on your order.
That's right. There you
What
go.
are all the products that you guys have?
Well, we're still pretty focused, but we have mostly footwear. We started with the Kujo Yard shoe, which is the lace-up hybrid shoe boot. Then we launched, like you had mentioned, the X1 safety toe boot. So that one has a composite safety toe. That's a 6-inch boot. And then we launched the Jags, which is the slip-on version of the Yard shoe, which is just the hottest thing right now. That's our biggest deal.
What colors?
In the Jags, we have a black and a gray, and then we just launched a gray and a green. Which gray greens are that's our best. That's been our best, most popular Yard shoe color, and now we just launched that last month, and that's really hot. It's about to sell out. And the other thing we brought last year was work pants. So we added the Kujo Yard pants, and on that one, footwear is still our core. But I said, hey, if we're gonna do it, let's do a super because I live in North Carolina now, and it gets hot and humid here in the summer. And a lot of guys don't want to wear shorts. They can't wear shorts. You got to protect your legs. So we wanted to do the lightest, most breathable pants for working in the hot summer, and that's what the Kujo Yard pants are. They're really light and breathable.
I was imagining something crazy like the Red Bull, like jumping out of a plane with a big Kujo parachute, or thinking crazy marketing ideas. What could you do? You could cut Kujo perfectly into a lawn, like a big stripe, like a trademark.
I like that. I actually like that idea. I don't know if I could pull it off. I got to find one of our customers who's a little more talented than me at that and make it happen.
It's funny. I analyzed my Instagram of the most viewed post of 2020, and it was, I post thousands of things on Instagram, and it was a perfectly laid stripes across a lawn. So I did it again in 2021. And out of the thousands of posts I did, it was the most viewed post again.
Wow.
I actually took the post from somebody else and gave them credit. And I'm trying to think of the dude's name. It was like, he's a lawn care guy, So that's why I thought of it, the Kujo. Yeah. And it would have to be somebody who lays stripes all the time and specializes in, like, she would like reach out or have like a competition. So all these people are posting it, the Kujo. And so whoever does the best gets like a whole free swag pack, and then it gets announced on social media. You give them like $1,000 worth of Kujo stuff.
I love that idea. Did you just come up with a home run idea for us? I love that.
Just literally off the top of my head.
Let people get creative and do Kujo in the stripes, and we could do a sweet prize pack for that. That'd be cool to see.
Because Russell Brunson in the ClickFunnels world of internet marketing, he, like, every time he does an event, he turns it into some big, crazy, epic, over-the-top thing. Like, everybody gets inside of these blown-up bubble, and they run into each other, and they're flipping around, and he'll have, like, balloons or some celebration. Like, I was thinking, like, when you do epic stuff that's unforgettable, purple cow type stuff.
Right.
No. And it doesn't have to be that expensive either. You can do something people will never forget. And sell a lot of product.
Yeah, like you said, just something unique and fun is huge to break through the noise out there, because there's a lot of noise these days.
So, where are you guys located again?
So we're in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then originally from Michigan. So we have some team members still in Michigan. We're headquarters in North Carolina, and then our warehouse is in Ohio. So we're in a few different states.
I love. So when people order, is it like there's just products on shelves everywhere, and you guys go get it all and package it? Then you have like a FedEx or UPS truck stopping by every day, picking up all the orders.
That's every day. So we have it's a third-party contract warehouse. So, and that's what they do. They're really, really good at fulfilling e-commerce orders. So they're just knocking them out every day. Exactly.
I was at Equip Expo. I go every year, which is formerly the GIE Expo in Louisville, Kentucky, October 18th through 22nd each year. For those of you who don't know, go to keithkelfas.com/events and you can check it out there and get a ticket. And you guys had your own booth at the Equip Expo this last year, and it was epic, dude. It was so well put together and so professional. Like, who thought that up?
Thank you. Well, that was most me and my sister Kelsey. Yeah, we kicked around. So I love trying to get the basic like floor plan, and I always try to think of like, because those booths get packed. That's such a great show. Equip Expo is so great, but I mean, we just get jammed. We get so many people, which is great, but I got to really think about traffic flow, and because we're actually like physically selling physical shoes there. I bring tons of product to that show. And so we need to like plan out like where are we going to put it? Do we have a checkout area? All that stuff. So I kind of plan out the foot traffic of the booth. And then my sister's she has a great design eye. So she picks out a lot of the furniture and stuff.
I just had a vision. If you had like hanging ropes that go from the rafters of the ceiling, just like black, and then they would have like hanging collapsible, almost like a material type containering that like it collapses, but it's like almost like for putting shoes, right? And they were all from the ceiling, and then you could have product stacked all the way up high, and people will see it from the whole shit. And then you can hire videographer and camera people to stand around and take pictures, but hire a videographer that stands on the outside of that and have like a Kujo event. So when there's like hundreds of people around and with the flashes and the cameras and all that, hire a videographer and photographer to stand outside of that to take pictures of the people and the camera. Does this make sense? Like going meta?
Yes. Yeah.
So it looks like this big epic shit and flashes, and get the perfect footage and then turn that into an ad in publications, blog articles. They'd be like, it was the spectacle of the Equip Expo, Kujo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people everywhere. No, and this year and I will touch on two things you just brought up because your head's always in the right place. We did Mitchell Gordy and a couple other of our partners helped run a giveaway. Then we gave away a few different things, and we had people could get tickets and come back. And to your point, our booth was packed. I mean, all the booths around us, people were overflowing. We had hundreds and hundreds of people there for the giveaway, but I didn't have my videographer there. We got a couple phone pictures, but we could have gotten a lot more cool content from that situation, which was really cool. And then the other thing you mentioned is coming up from the rafters. The previous year we had a booth, but we were just like way in the corner by the hardscapes in this little booth. And, we still had a great show, but this was we were with the big boys, right by Toro and everybody here in the main area. And the one thing I didn't plan for was going vertical, to your point. We realized all the other brands had big vertical graphics up high in the rafters, and we didn't. So we really want to play vertically next year there.
That just gave me another idea. I'm thinking of this crazy shit because I invested in an online course it's called Fame by Shiraz. And Shiraz is one of the original Hollywood guys who was the marketing genius behind blowing up people like Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian and some of these other celebrities.
Oh, wow.
And he knew how to orchestrate and engineer fame. And so like he has a Range Rover that he, spent thousands of dollars vinyl wrapping. And then outside across the street from like the Fox Theater and downtown Hollywood Boulevard, he pays to have an actual billboard right across from like the Gucci store and where all the celebrities shop. And so he will hire a drone film operator, and he pays a guy 12 hours a day to just drive around real slow in his Range Rover that's completely wrapped in his logos. But when he drives it down Hollywood Boulevard in front of the big billboard that says Fame, but like it all matches, and then the drone flies up, it looks like omnipresent, like the shit is everywhere. Yeah. And then he takes those and turns that into his ads. And so he orchestrates, and he'll create events where there will be like hundreds of people and then hire videographers. So like there's these little things you can do. And if you could just get that on camera once or twice, you can run that shit as ads for 2-3 years and create and generate all this, what we call social proof. So when people see it, they have FOMO, which is fear of missing out. So if something like that was so epic at the Equip Expo, then you run ads and people like, oh my God, like, I wish I was there. Why wasn't I there? So then now they want to go. And then, so when that big green K is embedded in their mind, it increases sales, overall brand viability. And then what happens, here's the best thing. When you do something so epic like that, I'm talking so much. My wife is like brilliant. And she's like, I saw your live stream. You were talking too much. I'm like, "Ugh." So when you do shit like that, that's epic. Then the other brands at the show see it and they become envious because people are leaving their booth to come to your booth. And now they all want to work with you. And it just becomes this circular virality, bro.
100%. I mean, energy breeds energy, you know, and that's huge.
I'm fired up.
Good. We're gonna have you at our booth next year. I'll tell you what. The other thing at the Equip Expo, and you know, I'm sure some of the people listening have been there and hopefully been to our booth and met our family. But I have my whole family there. I mentioned my sister, my brother-in-law, my mom and dad are there. My dad has so much energy, and he's the guy. He's like, come on, come on. And they take pictures together. Everybody who comes into our booth, my dad takes a picture with them, and everyone knows my dad now. He's been there the last couple of years. Oh, there's Dad. He's going to get our picture. And it just, like you said, it just brings energy. He's kind of over the top, but people kind of like that. And then
Yes.
everybody's getting their picture taken. And then it's good to have energy in your booth.
That's the human dynamic of like a family found, like a family business, and those type of things resonate and they're trustworthy and trustable. And then people want to, and when you have high energy, people love the hustle. It has a resonance that people want to support the hustle.
Right.
Like, I love it, dude.
Yeah.
So,
and luckily we're in the right industry. I mean, people in the green landscape industry, most of them are hustlers. A lot of these guys are running their own crew, and they're just hustling. So they, like you said, out of a lot of industries, I think that people in this industry appreciate the hustle and stuff like that a little bit.
100%. When I go to the Equip Expo myself, I can feel it in the air, the amount of inspiration. And these are people that pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Some people, I know I started with nothing, and now they're building multiple 6-figure businesses. They're getting nice houses, building shops, employing people, going on vacations now, more than just putting food on the table. They're prospering. And then they're going to the event. The underdog character would come to the event, scared, sleeping in the cheapest hotel or even sleeping in his truck just to go to the event. And that same guy 3 years later is now coming to the event in a brand new truck and like giving advice to other people about, it's just this, each one reach one.
Yeah, it's pretty inspiring to see. Actually, you start talking to people, and that's the cool thing. At events like that, you can talk to so many different people, and you get to talking to people. Everybody's got a pretty interesting story. Everybody's got a unique story and how they are where they are, and you can learn a lot from everybody. It's pretty cool to hear people's stories and how they grew.
Dude, I just had a whole vision. It's a commercial of a guy, waking up in the morning. He's checking off, on his phone what needs to be done. The crews are dispatching. It's a beautiful sunny day. There's grass. There's like a dandelion, and then the mower goes. And then you see he's like on a stand-on mower, and as it goes by, he's wearing a Kujo shoe. But it shows like his snapshot of a landscaping business owner's life and what he goes through, and the hustle and the sweat on the forehead. And at the end of the day, he walks on the door and takes off his Kujo shoes and puts them by the door. Right. And then his wife gives him a hug, and he's at the dinner table with his family, smiling, eating dinner. And it was a whole snapshot of like hustle, inspiration, life, but he's wearing Kujo shoes the whole time.
Love it. And at the end, you're showcasing the why, right? We're all working hard for a reason. For a lot of people, it is to take care of their family. For other people, it might be other reasons, but everybody's got a why, or else why would you be out there? So, I like that idea that you're really showcasing at the end. This is why this guy's busting his butt out there.
Or you could go overboard and the guy's throwing after dinner, he's throwing the baseball with the sun, and the baseball's in the sky, but the cloud is in the form of like Kujo, and it's like, but everything is Kujo to the point where it's tacky.
Or it's like over the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be memorable. That's a good thing.
What else? I've ran out of questions, man.
No, we touched on a lot of good stuff. That the other thing I would say just about whether it's Kujo or other things that I would love to touch on, and we kind of talked about before, is mindset, and we're kind of talking about it right now. Is like, man, one thing I've really learned through the years is having a clear vision is super, super powerful. I think I talk to a lot of people, and they would be like, "Oh man, I wish I'd win the lottery." I'd be like, okay, then what would you do? I would just be rich and do what I want. I know, but then what, literally what would you do every day? And they don't have an answer. So I think before we hustle and just try to like achieve stuff or gain money to gain money, I think it's important to have a clear like what would be your perfect life? Literally, I know, not to be like a dream thing, but my wife and I, like every 4 or 5 years, we sit and talk and we say, what would be our perfect life? What would be our dream life? Not that we'll ever attain it, but we'd like to work towards it. But if you don't know what your dream life would be, it's hard to work towards it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like, that's the reason I started a shoe company, because we had that dinner. I said, my dream life would be to own my own shoe company, not work for someone else. That's why we moved to North Carolina, because we lived in Michigan our whole lives. And one day we were talking, we said, we'd love to live somewhere warmer. And so it took us a couple of years, but we made it happen. Like, but I think like, if you don't like stop and really think what would be really, really cool to do in your life, you're never going to achieve it. So I think it's really important to like sit back and have a clear vision. And then some pretty amazing things happen when you really do that.
Yeah, my friend Joshua Latimer has not only business systems he teaches, but family systems. And he has like 5 kids. And he says every year they'll do like, and they spend an entire day just storyboarding as a family and thinking about their dreams and their life and their visions and what they want to do and create. And then they put it into step-by-step actionable plans, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. And it's like, so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm like, so how did you actually move to a warmer area and like uproot, and like, did you like leave your whole family? How did that think? Because it's freezing in Michigan and we're literally seasonal depression type shit.
Totally. Especially this time of year, right? It's getting to you. And it was really hard. It was the hardest thing that we've done. My wife and I, we both lived in Michigan our whole lives, all of our families in Michigan, everybody. I mentioned my family many times on this, we're very tight. So it was really hard to do, but at the time I didn't start Kujo yet, but at the time I was working remote. My wife wasn't working, and we could literally live anywhere in the country. And I said, you know what? Not many people have this opportunity where I'm working for a remote job and you're in between jobs. Like, we can literally live anywhere in the US. Our kids were at an age where they're still a little younger. They were like 5 and 8. And we said, either we do it now, because once they start getting into high school and stuff, that'd be too hard to pull them. I said, we either do it now or else we'll have to wait till we retire. And then we actually just started to look at, we rented houses in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina. We kind of tested areas, and then we kind of did a tour, and then we ultimately just kind of fell in love with North Carolina and then moved here.
Oh my God. No, I can't do that. Sorry. I'm a huge creature of habit. And so I've spent a lot of time investing in building my studio and getting everything to like where we can actually start to scale now.
Yeah.
So uprooting is like, but damn, bro. So was it the reason just because it's so cold?
Yeah. Yeah. And cold and gray. I mean, those winters are so, they're so long, and you don't see the sun for weeks on end for a while. That was the main reason, just weather. Yeah. At first I was thinking, we did the thing, we were like, what would be our perfect life? And we were like, man, it seems kind of cool how the snowbirds, when they retire, they spend the summers in Michigan and the winters in Florida. And I said to my wife, Renee, I said, what if we could pull that off now? What if we just did that now? So that was our first shot. We went to Florida for 3 months, and we're like, while we're raising kids, do you think we could live in Florida in the winter and Michigan in the summers? But that was too hard. So that's why ultimately we said we need one spot to live, just in North Carolina.
Damn. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a place in Florida, but I can't get myself to have like a primary home and a vacation home, because I want to just invest in assets that throw off passive income, and having stupid expenses we don't need is not smart. But where can everybody find you on? Is at Kujo Yardwear on all social media handles?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, Instagram and Facebook are our main two. It's just at Kujo Yardwear, and then our website is just Kujo, Kujo.com.
Kujo.com. And is anything new coming out, or what's the coolest thing happening in 2023 with Kujo Yardwear?
2023, the coolest thing, and we showed a sneak peek prototype at Equip, but it's coming out in the fall, is 100% water. You had mentioned 99%, but it's going to be 100% soft toe waterproof boot. We've had a ton of requests for it. That's the one kind of missing piece in our lineup. So we just wrapped that up, and we're going to launch it this fall. So I'm excited to have a fall launch this year of that waterproof boot.
Epic. And I love those one Kujos I have that are black with the lime green. It's so dope, because my colors are black and lime green. not on this one specific shirt, but mostly it's black and green. So any iteration of that, like you got the gray and greens, that's perfect too. Because I do have our recent all the work shirts that the guys wear are gray with green. So it's like, because when you're matching head to toe,
Right. Oh,
I
that's
don't know.
perfect. And fortunately, we found like our colors are like either black or gray with our pops of bright green. Fortunately, a lot of lawn care guys kind of have that color scheme, so our product worked pretty well.
As long as it does have that green in there, then that's perfect.
Yeah.
You got my
I mean,
brain going, bro.
yeah, and in last year I tried to get crazy and I did like a bright blue shoe, which was cool, but it strayed too much from our brand. So now I'm going back to our grays and blacks with pops and green. That's it. I mean it's staying true to our brand. It works well.
Kujo glasses, like black or gray with a green K, or you'd have the eyes just K's.
As long as people can still see, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's never mind. All right, sir. This is fun having you on, bro. Guys, if you like this episode and you're on the Untrapped podcast on Apple or Spotify, please leave it a well-worded review. It helps boost the show's ratings. And then once again, if you want to get anything Kujo Yardwear, keithkalfas.com/resources. Scroll down, you'll see Kujo Yardwear. Anything you buy in the store, promo code Keith10 at checkout saves you 10%. This has been Sean Langton. Did I say your last name right?
That's right. Sean
Sean
Langton. You got
Langton,
it.
CEO and founder of Kujo Yardwear. Anything else, sir?
No, I appreciate you having me on. This was fun. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, thanks. Later, guys. See you in the next show.